Hello, Central Texas and the world. I am Patrick Purifoy, broker and owner of Blessed Properties here in Killeen, Texas. Welcome to That Real Estate Show, where I am proud to be your host. That Real Estate Show is dedicated entirely to enlightening you, the consumer, on real estate related matters and much more. Today's show is brought to you entirely by BP School of Real Estate. BP School of Real Estate is your Central Texas source for real estate education, offering pre-licensing, continuing education, and salesperson annual education courses. BP School of Real Estate is located at 2210 East Syntex Expressway, Suite 202, right here in Killeen, Texas. Visit us online at bpsore.com, that is bpsore.com, or give us a call at 254-833-9639. Today I have on the show with me a good friend, Mr. Victor Henry. He was on the show last week, and we're going to do a continuation or part two of what we talked about last week. And we're going to, subject matter is just the same, but we're going to call this part entrepreneurial development. Victor, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Patrick. I am so happy to be back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm glad to have you. I want to get right into it, man, because we don't have much time, and we have a whole lot of information that we want to put out. So last week, we talked about a lot of things that could help people in their businesses, and we want to kind of carry that on today. What did you have for us today that you wanted to start with?
Well, we wanted to talk a little bit. Last week we got excited because we knew there were opportunities for us as entrepreneurs, but we want to help people actually with the process of being a business owner. Whether you're a startup or you're new, or even if you've been in business for a while, there are things that you can do to enhance and make that experience more positive.
Right.
The first thing, when you're trying to be in business or you're in business, you really need to know your market.
Right.
Us as real estate agents, we have to know what properties are out there, what competition is out there, what situation we have to be able to influence people to use us for their services. So we do that through research. Now, right. Killeen's market is a little bit different from Austin's.
Right.
Austin is a very hot market. We have 165 people a day moving to Austin. Mm-hmm. So if you know that as a real estate agent, you know they don't sleep outside.
Right.
They're going to need apartments or houses. So
Absolutely.
Knowing that market, you will know generally, what opportunities there are for you as a real estate agent. Personally, being in the commercial business, the same effect applies to me in Austin.
Right.
We have lots of businesses that move from other states. I just posted an article that I found. They basically are calling Texas the new California.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Companies are moving from California into Texas, and that's opportunities for somebody like me because
Right.
they need to have somewhere to put those
Right.
businesses. So that's part of research, knowing what potential clients you will have, and then I also need to know the actual market for the properties that are available.
Right.
So in order to be effective in my business, I have to know where I can put people.
Right.
So for a person who's aspiring to be in any kind of business, you have to know, obviously the demographic of your clients, and then the opportunity to offer products and services to them.
Well, let me stop you right there for just a minute, because you have I love what you do. There's so many aspects to real estate, and tell everybody what company you work for and what you've made your niche.
Okay, so I work for a company called Commercial Market Exchange, and we're a local broker in Austin, Texas. We have a small office, but my niche is what we call tenant representation.
Mm-hmm.
I basically work sort of like an apartment locator for
Mm-hmm.
businesses.
Mm-hmm.
A business will come to me and say, hey, we want to find an office space in a certain area at a certain budget with a certain size, and I go out and I find all the listings that fit that
Right.
requirement. So I have pinpointed a niche in my particular industry where I can help businesses, and therefore I'm able to be more concise on the things I pay attention to.
Right.
I don't need to know if there's 30 acres of land for sale
Right.
in South Austin, or if a building is for sale in a certain area. I really need to know the availabilities of
Yeah.
lease space
Right.
for my clients, and that way it makes me more knowledgeable
Right.
in my in what I do.
Right. Right. And I absolutely love that. And I just wanted to make sure that people understood what you do. How can they get in touch with you?
Okay, so I can be reached. My phone number is area code 512-587-9409. That's 512-587-9409. You can also look at our website. We have a variety of information that you can see, of properties that we've helped people get into and clients that we've helped secure locations. That website is www.cmeatx.com. cmeatx.com.
All right, so there's Victor's contact information. So if you are a business owner, small or large, Victor is the man. He can help you find a space in the greater Austin area. He knows that market inside and out. He knows what spaces are available, what amenities they have, and he can help you out. And you'll learn further as you listen on today. This guy has a great business savvy about himself, great business knowledge. So this show today is for those of us that are already in business, perhaps, or you're thinking about starting a business, and that's what we're focusing on today. So go ahead, Victor.
Okay, so when we get down to kind of understanding our market, really, let's take a step back. You know, everything should have a blueprint.
Right.
When you build a house, you don't just grab a bunch of
Right.
boards and bricks and just start laying stuff out. You need a blueprint. The business blueprint is called a business plan.
Right.
This is where you actually have on paper a variety of things: what your business is, what your goals are, your market analysis, which is the research we just talked about,
Right.
what product or service line you're going to offer, sales and marketing, financial projections, all of those things.
Right.
And those are things that you can start off with, even if you don't know what they are. You need to have those categorized and at least have some idea of what you think goes into each category. What will happen is once you get going,
Mhm.
you'll realize that some things need to change, modify, or stay the same.
Right.
And that way, you have a blueprint of the growth and positioning of your business. The second reason why that's so important is when you want somebody to invest in your
Mhm.
business, they're going to ask for that.
Yeah.
They need to see on paper what your projections are. They're not going to give you money based on
Right.
emotion.
Yeah, they want to see a solid foundation.
Right.
And that blueprint is that solid foundation. So a blueprint or a business plan, if you will, has 8 key factors. And let me tell you what those 8 key factors are, so that when you get ready to prepare your business plan, you will know what needs to go in there. So an executive summary, and that is a 1 or 2 page summary of your entire business plan as a whole. The next thing is a business description. Who are you? What are you? Products and services. What are they? What kind of widget are you going to sell? Who are you going to sell it to? Sales and marketing. What do you project your sales to be? How are you going to present your widget to the masses to buy, to consume? The operations. What's going to be the formation of your company, leadership wise, management wise? What are going to be your hours of operation, your business hours, your management team, development, growth for the future, and a financial summary. So those are the 8 points to a business plan that you need to kind of fill in. That's your starting point. And like Victor said, as you go, you need to have a plan in place with these 8 things at a minimum. And as you continue to develop, to think about what you're doing, what your business is going to be, you can begin to fill in those things. But definitely when you get ready to go to a bank or ask anybody to invest in you, this needs to be as complete as possible.
Correct.
Because that's the foundation.
And it sounds a little complicated, and you may not know where to get started. Google business plan.
Yeah.
You can find templates. You can find just what needs to go in those plans.
Right.
And don't think you have to know everything, but at least know the categories that are required for you to have in a business plan.
Right. Right. So what about business types?
Okay, so there are once you establish your business, there are going to be different, I guess, structures of how your business is put together. Uh, a lot of us mom and pops are sole proprietors. That means we're it's the most basic form of business, and you alone own the company, and you're responsible for its assets and liabilities. A lot of times, some of that stuff we have on our personal, balance sheet or our personal credit. Um, this, the next form is going to be an LLC. Most people form LLCs for two reasons. Number one, there are tax benefits in the LLC. Excuse me. And then the second reason is they are able to transfer liabilities.
Right.
So if you or someone working for you more so does something wrong, then instead of you being held personally responsible for that action, if it's something that happens, it would be transferred to the business.
To the business.
Now, let me make a disclaimer. I am not an attorney.
Right.
So always consult with a professional when
Right.
you're trying to set these up and to understand exactly how they work.
Right.
An attorney and a CPA.
Exactly.
Excuse me. Then we have corporations, which we understand are your big, not necessarily just in terms of size, but the way they are structured. They have ownership of shares that we can buy into, and they're structured just for really funding mechanisms. Really help corporations.
Right.
There are partnerships and cooperatives where you can joint venture with another person or another business, and you both will have dedicated responsibilities in the action. Sometimes a partnership is limited. Sometimes it only lasts for a certain period of time through a certain activity.
Right.
So those are different ways that you can actually conduct business and have your business work.
So there are several different ways that you can form your company. Just like Victor said, sole proprietorship, partnership, S corporation, LLC, which is limited liability company, C corp, S corp. So you really have to do your homework, and like Victor said, sit down with a lawyer and a tax preparer, bookkeeper, or someone of that nature that can explain to you the benefits of each, and make your decision from there. A lot of people starting out will, like Victor said, just be a sole proprietor, because that's the easiest thing to do to just get started. But as a business grows, they need to look at the formation of their company, because as you grow, more assets you have, the more liabilities you have, and you need to protect yourself. You need to protect your company. So these different company formations will help you with that.
And I wanted to touch on something. We did talk a little bit about hiring people. When you are forming your business, don't be afraid to pay a little money to have a professional help you, whether it's structure your business or do your taxes or something that is not your expertise.
Right.
Because most of the time, and we've all been through it, you end up paying more on the back end.
Yes, sir.
Trying to do something that you are not an expert in.
Yes, sir.
And making up and trying to get that problem resolved.
And man, I'm telling you, paying an expert up front will save you those headaches, will save you a lot of time, effort, energy, and dollars.
Right.
It really will. So yeah, don't sleep on that. If you're absolutely able to hire an expert to do something that you don't know how to do it. Don't cheat yourself, because that's exactly what you're going to be doing. You're going to be cheating yourself up front, and then you're going to be paying out of your pocket in the end.
Right. Well, and let's also look at this. I mean, sometimes you can partner with someone that's an expert in one area, and you may have an expertise in something else, and maybe you can work out a deal, a barter situation. I mean, if you have a certain service that you can offer to a professional and they need that service, why not do an in-kind trade-off?
Right.
So it doesn't always have to be a physical hand me $1 and I hand you one.
Right.
Because typically what happens is when someone barters with me, I would have turned the dollars into services and trade anyway. So there's ways that you can, if we have limited budgets, I mean, some of us do, we can approach somebody and make it an equitable trade-off.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And that sounds good. That's some very sound advice. It's in my church we call it the Shamgar principle. You start where you're at, you use what you have, and you do what you can, and that includes other people. If again, if there is something before you that you need done that you don't know how to do yourself, go to somebody else. And
Right.
just like Victor said, they may be willing to barter with you and trade with you and allow you to keep that money in your pocket and invest it in your company in a different way. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So yeah, so we and another I guess point on that is we talked about collaboration.
Oh man, man.
So uh, I'll just give you an example. So when I was an insurance agent in Houston,
Hmm.
I got most of my deals from mortgage people.
Hmm.
They needed to have insurance to close
Right,
on the house.
right,
That's basically a collaboration.
right.
I gave them something they needed to
Hmm.
get their process done.
Hmm.
They gave me something I needed to,
Right.
further my business. So we need to understand strategically how to find those partners, the
Hmm.
collaborative partners.
Right.
If you're a mechanic and you know a guy with a small used car dealership,
Hmm.
he brings in cars that needs work all the time.
Right.
So that may be a good way to be a collaborative partner with
Right.
somebody, and then that person will more likely refer business to you
Hmm.
because you've helped work on the cars that they're putting on their lot. So it's just being creative and trying
Right.
to find ways to keep income coming into your business
Hmm.
and to also support
Right.
people around you.
And I'm going to tell you, and everybody already knows this, so I'm not speaking anything new under the sun, but none of us know everything. You know, uh, it's good to talk with people, and Victor, I call this ROR, return on relationship, just like ROI, return on investment.
Right.
I call this ROR, return on relationship. So as a business owner, you're doing business and you run into people, you develop relationships, and as you develop these relationships is basically one hand washes the other.
Hmm.
And we just talked about it a few minutes ago. It doesn't necessarily always have to be dollar for dollar.
Hmm.
I need you to do this, it costs this. Okay, now I need you to do this, it costs this, because you're going to continue to do business with one another. You're going to continue to come back to one another.
Hmm.
So why not do that barter system like
Right.
you spoke of? Why not develop that return on relationship?
Right.
Last Tuesday when you were here, you and I, after the radio show, man, we spent hours together just collaborating. I drove Victor around the city. I showed him, some of the things that I had my finger on in the city, some things I was doing, and we went back to my office and we sat down, man. And this brother knows what he's doing when he's talking about commercial real estate and spaces, lease spaces, and he threw some ideas out there that frankly I'd never thought of before, or that are now um, income for me,
Right.
and that was huge, and it was simple. Somebody that does
Right.
and do every day. You're far ahead of the game with the stuff that we talked about. We all need to do it.
Exactly. And understanding collaboration. Uh, know that what God has for you, collaborate with an attorney. Now, I may
Right.
make and looking on him because I know that basically the nature of his business allows him to make X amount of dollars.
There you go.
So one thing about collaboration, we need to understand that what's for you is for you.
Yeah.
And what's for that other person is for that other person. Sometimes it's not going to be equal in
Hmm.
terms of the value,
Hmm.
monetary
Right.
value, but it's equal in terms of the value to you and your business.
Right.
And
And what that value is, okay, you're operating in the principle that you do every day, be it real estate. Now, because of that relationship with that lawyer, guess what? When he has his lawyer friends need to do the same thing, he's gonna say, "Go see Victor. I just did this with Victor. Victor, puzzle somewhere to you still do every day. Spread it's going to blossom, and that's what collaboration is. You relationship when you're collaborating with people, establish a relationship. The person across the table hears somebody else talk, to be the only name that comes to his mind for you.
Exactly.
Oh, back and forth necessarily with with it set in stone that okay, hey man, I referred you to somebody or I referred somebody to you. This is what you owe me. It's gonna come
Right.
back around. That's what collaboration is.
Right. It's relationship building.
Relationship.
I guess I'm trying to use this as a good example, but Jesus collaborated.
Yes.
I mean, he was the Messiah. He was the giver of things, but he chose 12 men.
Yes.
Right? He didn't do this all by himself.
Right.
He chose 12 men to go out and help spread the word. So,
Exactly.
if we have the greatest example of collaboration
Yes.
in Jesus and the disciples.
Yes. 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 Man, that was good. That was good.
I made
like
that up all by myself, man.
All by yourself. Well, that was good. If we can't follow that example, man, who can
Right.
we follow? What example can we follow?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. What else you got?
Man, I'm just interested in really getting people to take a step back and to understand, how to get started.
Hmm.
What I want everybody to do, everybody listening, especially if you are trying to start a business,
Hmm.
tonight,
Hmm.
go to a Walmart or wherever. Go and get a spiral notebook,
Hmm.
get a pencil or a pen, and start writing down in that notebook what you want to do
Hmm.
and where you want to be, and you got to be deliberate.
Right.
Being in business is not an act. It's not going to happen by accident. It has to be deliberate. So for that person who's been stuck,
Hmm.
I want you to do that. I want you to go and tonight. Today is the last day you have that you're gonna not do it.
Right.
Tomorrow you're gonna start on working toward a business. So that's the first step. The
Hmm.
first step.
Hmm.
After you write down what you want to do, then second step is to do some research.
Yes.
I mean, you can Google things on your phone.
Yeah.
There's so much information to find out what you want to do. Find out if the service or product you offer is what it entails being into that business.
Right.
And then third, if it's something that is to the general public, if it's a local
Mhm.
product, then you need to research your area and see who's here.
Yeah.
What's
else
the
is doing the
demographic?
same thing?
Who's doing who's in that business, and also who you can sell that product or service to. Demographics.
Mhm.
Just Google it. Google can be your best friend, man, and that's free.
Right. Right. So let's talk real quick because we have to, and I want to take a few minutes to do this. We're already in business. Let's talk about some idiosyncrasies that are out there that business owners do that should not do. So one thing that bothers me that if a business is in business, they're open and they have established business hours, let that be your business hours. It absolutely kills me when I go to a place expecting them to be open because that's what your hours say on the door, that's what the hours say on your website, that's what the hours say on your Facebook page. And I go there and you're closed.
Mm-hmm.
Or I go there and you don't have what you said you were going to have.
Right.
That bothers me.
Well, I think what happens is sometimes a, uh, we treat our businesses like a hobby.
Mm.
We don't put. We're in business for the sake of us instead of the sake of our customer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I get tired, I'm ready to go home,
Right.
or when I run out, I'm out. But that's not a service to your customer who you
No.
expect to support you.
Right.
You have to be a customer centric thinking person
Right.
when you're in business. How is my customer going to look at
Mm-hmm.
if they come up and my hours are 9 to 5, but at 1:30
Yeah.
I'm gone?
Gone.
Um, So I think we just need to understand the differences between hobby businesses and hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've run into people that you expected them to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and you could tell they treated it as a hobby.
Right.
You know, they're retired, they don't really want to work hard, but they want to make a few dollars
Right.
doing something,
Right.
but they're not really in business. But I'm in business, and I'm expecting you to get that thing back to me, a product or a service back to me, because
Absolutely.
I have a client expecting me to get it to them. Well,
Absolutely.
you've just hurt that whole process
Mm-hmm.
because you're treating business like a hobby instead
Mm-hmm.
of a business.
Right.
So we need to be really careful about doing it, and really understand, what am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, and I know this is kind of out of order. We have just a few minutes left, and it's kind of out of order. But and you see this more than well. I think we both see it, but I primarily do residential, and you do commercial. The preparation, financial preparation to occupy a space.
Right.
Talk about that.
Well, I'm going to talk again about the principle of it first. Understand that when you go into business, that is an investment. That word investment suggests what? There's going to be money involved,
Right.
right? And there may even be a sacrifice
Right.
to get there. And so when we go into wanting to get into a space or wanting to start a business, we have to understand that there are some financial things that we might have to do that are going to probably take us away from the personal things that we're used to doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it, it I don't understand how people can show up. I go and show them spaces.
Right.
They show up in a luxury vehicle,
Yeah.
but then they telling me they don't have enough money for a down payment.
Mm.
That's kind of backwards,
Yeah.
right? Because that luxury vehicle is never going to appreciate, right?
No.
But you paying $700, $800, $900 a month, right? For something that, when you started it was worth 40, now it's worth 25, but you paid, 7% interest, but so you paid
Yeah.
45 for it,
Yeah.
right? Now, if you gave me $45,000 and in you told me to hold for you, and in 5 years you came back and said, "Where's my 45?" and I gave you 25, we probably wouldn't be friends too
No,
long.
not at all.
So that's kind of how that reverse equity thing goes
Yeah.
with. So anyway, what I'm getting at is we need to understand that these are investments, and you have to invest with your time and your dollars if you want to be in business.
Right. 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 And that's it. That's the bottom line right there. We need to be prepared to occupy spaces. We need to have a business plan in place, not just off the seat of our pants. A hope and a wish that is going to work. To God be the glory for some. It happens that way, but not many.
Right.
And not to say that it's going to be successful. Off the seat of your pants. So, preparation. Put preparation into it with the business plan. You got the 8 points there that you need to be aware of. And financially, once your business plan is done, financially, you need to be prepared to occupy space, products, materials, labor. All of that needs to be taken into account. So that's what we have for you today as it pertains to entrepreneurship, and we hope we've been a blessing to you. Before I go, I want to mention BP SOAR one more time, BP School of Real Estate. We got some great classes coming up for people that are already realtors. And this Friday, Principles of Real Estate 1, if you are looking to come into the real estate industry, this is one of the classes that you need to take. Give us a call, 833-9639, 254-833-9639, or register on the website at bpsoar.com. God bless you, and we'll meet you guys here next Tuesday.